Hello, I'm Kip. Today is the first episode of Kip's Comments on Current Literature. Today I'm going to review The Last Exile, and this is by Charles Durham. He's a freelance writer. Mr. Durham lives in western Kansas, and this is his first novel. He was born in Texas, and now talking about The Last Exile, it's actually quite lengthy. I mean, that would be my only real criticism of it, as how long it is. There are 5 sections, or part 5 takes part in the year 1760. This is historically accurate. It is historical fiction, but Mr. Durham did a lot of research to make it accurate. Okay, the first section, The Last Exile. Part 1, 1715. That's when it begins and goes on to 1746. And this is the main character. This tells about his youth, but he was, a very religious young man living in France, the northern part of France, and he had aspired to be a priest. And so he went to a seminary right after high school, and especially in Europe, if they were, intellectual, matured mentally faster than they do now. I mean, so he was maybe a high school graduate at the age of 14 and went to the seminary, to study to be a priest. And he just, and he loved God, but he did have questions. How could a good God allow so much suffering? And so this, waited on him all through his life. And about after he'd been in I think it was in Paris for several years, still a young man, maybe 18, 19 years old, and the Huguenots were French Protestants who were discriminated against in many ways. Anyway, Gabriel du Blanchet, and I believe that's, let's see, how do I put it? Okay, this is, he was French, and this isn't the exact French pronunciation of his name, but comes close. And so then when he was about 18, there were different events going on, and then there was, crowds, and they were witnessing, public executions. That was entertainment back then, and maybe to some extent now. And so, they were torturing this man. And of course, it was quite upsetting. Some of the people thought it was exciting, and he spotted a young girl, probably about a year younger than himself, and she was crying. She was also touched how terrible this was, and so it went on, and then later, so he went back home to rural France because he could no longer deal with the injustices that were going on, and so that was part 1. Part 2, it goes on. So he goes back to his home and gets together with one of his childhood friends, and they're good friends. So there's part 2.
Hey Kip, would you recommend this book to your worst enemy?
Yes. The problem is she can't read that well.
Burn.
I would recommend it if you have lots of time. I would recommend it to people who are interested in North American history. This takes place in Canada and France, and so most of us are not that familiar with places other than the United States, or the part of America where we grew up. And so this book was lent to me by a good friend, so I don't buy very many books. I take them out, I get them at the library, keep them for 2 weeks so you can renew them. And so I didn't really have time to read the whole thing in 2 weeks. I've got other stuff to do.
A 1 to a 10 star, what would you rate this book?
7. It is well written, and there's you can learn a lot about North American history, the fur trade. I didn't always know this. I learned it from reading this book.
If you like it, you give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. It's worth reading, and you have to realize that it will take time. Times I couldn't put it down. I'm signing off. I'm Kip. See you next time. Kip's comments.
Yeah.